Hello and welcome to another anime explained video, and today we are going to take a closer look at the insane creativity One Punch Man holds and why it just works. But before we're going to do so, let me thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function who made one-time donations. Also please check out my newest video about cat girls. It's linked down in the video description. Now, with all of that said, let's start with why One Punch Man can be so creative. Well, it has to do with the power system, which is very soft and stretchable. In a hard power system, where the battle power, the effects, and the cost of any attack, of armor, weapons and gear are known, creativity often takes the form of a clever way of an out-of-the-box solution for an otherwise insurmountable problem that is perfectly legit inside the hard power system. It just works within it. But it's just very hard to think of. Take Yu-Gi-Oh! For an example. Duel Monsters has a very hard power system with the effects and the strength of any monster or any other card depicted in text description and in terms of attack and defense powers, even in raw numbers. In his duel with Marek, Yugi was faced with one of the Egyptian god monsters, named Slifer, who would gain more and more power the more cards the player using this Egyptian god monster has held in his hand. Obviously, the player using Slifer would want to hold as many cards in his hands as possible in order to increase Slifer's attack power, and Slifer would also automatically get to attack any new monster that would appear in Yugi's part of the battlefield with his second mouth. And to make matters even worse, whenever a new monster would enter a field, then the player would draw cards thanks to some other effect, thus increasing his attack power further. Now, how to win against this strategy? Easy. You use a mind control card that lets you steal the enemy's underpowered monster, but this is one that will appear every time it is destroyed. It is destroyed and it will reappear. It is destroyed and it will reappear. And if it is destroyed, the opponent has to draw more cards. If the slime is destroyed, it reappears, and thus forcing the opponent to draw even more cards until his deck is empty. And when the deck of cards is empty, the player who can't draw any more cards loses. A perfect example of how to write a clever victory in a hard power system like card games. In the soft power system that One Punch Man uses, the rules are way more ill-defined, and therefore the restrictions are very few and limited in number, which means nearly all power-ups, abilities, strengths and weaknesses are possible, as long as there is some reason for it that broadly fits into the story. God revealed his power-up to me in a dream thus becomes valid, as well as any other power or lack thereof. Take Fubuki for example. She is able to use psychic powers to control her environment, make things or people levitate, create energy shields, and heal people with her psychic essence somehow. But what would happen if she is out of power, but needs to heal a badly wounded hero? Well, there exists a character named Pig God, who can and will eat nearly everything, and his fat contains energy. So Fubuki is able to use the fat of Pig God to heal Tank Top Master. Would this make sense in a hard power system where physics would somehow limit psychic powers and the healing abilities? No, it wouldn't. But in a vaguely defined soft power setting, no rules are broken because rules about energy transfer didn't exist in the first place. What was needed to make this believable was to find an energy resource that would allow a B-ranked hero to heal a nearly dead S-ranked hero without giving Fubuki herself a power-up that she did not earn. So using Pig God as a battery makes perfect sense. And these well-executed creative ideas are what makes One Punch Man, among many other things, so awesome. But it's not the only one. Just look at the creativity and the powers of the many characters. Genos is a demon cyborg whose fights are awesome, but who lacks just a tiny bit of power to actually win at least some of them. And since his power-ups comes with a price, that is time, that every upgrade and every improvement takes, those upgrades and improvements feel earned. Puri Prisoner is literally a prisoner by choice in order to be closer to his lovers. He also has insane physical strength, and he can dive to concrete for some very convenient reason now. Tank Top Master uses the power of tank top wearing to become stronger. Metal Bat gets stronger the more damage he takes. I've seen this concept in Pokemon before. Flashy Flash is extremely fast, agile, and still hilariously underpowered without his sword to capitalize on his insane momentum. Watchdog Man is literally just Saitama in a dog costume who protects just one single city, and therefore isn't a factor in most battles. Super Alloy Darkshine is so muscular that even water jets capable of slicing through rocks only serve to polish him. Pig God can and will eat nearly everything, no matter if it's toxic or literally able to unleash water jets from inside his own body. Drive Knight is another cyborg able to transform. Zombie Man can endlessly regenerate, but he's only able to bend metal bars and such minor physical things, and he lacks the insane physical strength the rest of the S-rank heroes have, though in turn he's an insanely good detective, and just as popular with women as Genos is. King is in a league of his very own, and his ultimate Hellfire Burst wave motion cannon is a great reference to space battleship Yamato. Metal Knight is an insane scientist with loads of robots. Child Emperor is a child genius that fights with creative inventions and his knowledge. And he also reminds me of the Digimon Kaiser. Atomic Samurai is literally just a stereotypical samurai fighting with his sword, on a molecular level, although he is still unable to cut things like King does. Bang is just a great martial arts fighter that is able to redirect any physical attack, no matter how strong. And Blast, the #1 hero, and his mysterious absence added a great many uncertainties that only now recently had been resolved. And that's just the S-rank heroes. The various powers of the Monster Association is also quite insane. Orochi is a monster made up of other monsters. Psychos is an Esper able to control a meat puppet. Evil Natural Water sounds like one of the least creative monster names for arguably one of the most apocalyptic opponents. Only Saitama, Pig God, Garou, and maybe the legions of Caligula could have beaten him. And all of this insane creativity is neatly contrasted with Saitama's attack, like Normal Punch or Serious Punch, which comes off as an understatement compared to their insane power. And all of this just works, because while you have a general idea how strong anyone is, thanks to the hero ranking from C to B to A to S, which also allows to categorize the strength of the monster the heroes are fighting, it nonetheless is vague enough to allow for surprises in both directions of power. And also the sheer multitude of powers and gimmicks makes it relatively easy to find good opponents for a relatively spontaneous fight, like Garou's desperate struggle against the A-ranked heroes. So it's believable and well written, because every power of every single combatant feels legit, and it fits into the wider complex world. And in the case of this battle, it made for a very layered and complex fight, which felt extremely engaging. So thanks to the soft power system, only one's creativity sets the limit. And in the case of One Punch Man's author, One, the creativity seems to be limited the same way Saitama's punches are limited in strength. And with that said, I hope you have enjoyed this video. And as usual, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Arder Daddy Arder, Bad Guy Ye, Bad Boto 316, B Zer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Thiralchivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia Whippy Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Love Razor, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, Oh Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantum, Paz Sonich, Primus 11, Rhinomir, Q&A Karakos P, Shagox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Xenukai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon under my next video.